Introducing the 2017-2018 Iowa Children's Choice Awards. Read the books, take the Reading Counts quizzes, and earn the Reading Counts prizes. First book is Annika Riz Math Whiz by Claudia Mills. Annika hopes to change her best friend's hatred of math by winning a Sudoku contest, but she does not realize how important their lack of mathematical ability is until they make a mistake at the school carnival. Read Annika Riz Math Whiz. Audacity Jones to the Rescue by Kirby Larson. In 1910, Audacity Jones is an 11-year-old orphan living in a monotonous life at Miss Macy's School for Wayward Girls and wondering why nothing exciting ever happens. But when the mysterious Commodore Crutchfield whisks her away to Washington, D.C., she finds herself involved in a sinister and dangerous plot against the President of the United States. Find out what happens in Audacity Jones to the Rescue. Crenshaw by Katherine Applegate. Jackson and his family have fallen on hard times, and they may yet again have to live out of their minivan until things get better. Back into Jackson's head comes Crenshaw, the large, outspoken, imaginary cat, who helps him through the hard times. This time, however, an imaginary friend might not be enough. Crenshaw. Ellie's Story, a Dog's Purpose novel by W. Bruce Cameron. Ellie has been trained since the time she was a puppy to be a search and rescue dog, but her greatest task may be to help her handlers, widowed Jacob and lonely Maya find comfort and love. Read Ellie's Story. Finding Fortune by Delia Ray. Angry with her mother and waiting for her father to return from his tour of duty in Afghanistan, 12-year-old Bren runs away to an unusual boarding house in a nearby ghost town, Fortune, where she learns of a forgotten treasure from when the town was famous for buttons made of Mississippi River shells. Read Finding Fortune. Firefly Hollow by Allison McGee. Because their dreams of daring adventures go against the cautious teachings of their nations, Firefly and Cricket set out on their own, find a home with kindly Vole, and together help a grieving miniature giant named Peter. Read Firefly Hollow. Full Cicada Moon by Marilyn Hilton. As the Apollo 11 mission goes to the moon, Mimi Yashiko Oliver moves to Vermont, a mostly Caucasian state, a place to feel out of place for a half-black, half-Asian girl like her. Mimi does her best to follow her dreams, taking shop class instead of home ec in school, entering science competitions, and ultimately to become an astronaut. Read Full Cicada Moon. Fuzzy Mud by Louis Sachar. To avoid a bully, Marshall and Tamaya, a boy and girl who have walked to school and back together since they were little, take a shortcut through the off-limits woods. They soon wish they hadn't as they stumbled upon big trouble. Soon the authorities and even the U.S. Senate are involved, and the whole world may be affected. Read Fuzzy Mud. A Handful of Stars by Cynthia Lord. In rural Maine, 12-year-old Lily begins a friendship with Selma, the daughter of migrant blueberry pickers. But their friendship is put to the test when both girls decide to compete in a local Blueberry Queen pageant. Read A Handful of Stars by Cynthia Lord. The Hero, Two Doors Down by Sharon Robinson. Written by the daughter of famed baseball player Jackie Robinson and based on a true story, this novel follows 8-year-old Steve Satlow. In 1948, he lives in the Jewish neighborhood of Flatbush in Brooklyn, New York. He and his father love the Dodgers. Imagine his surprise when he learns his hero, Jackie Robinson, who broke the color barrier in baseball, is moving in just 2 houses away. The gracious, quiet man invites Steve into his home often, and the boy learns many hard lessons from the baseball star about the sport and about self-esteem, bigotry, and tolerance. Read The Hero 2 Doors Down. The Island of Dr. Libris by Chris Grabenstein. 12-year-old Billy embarks on an adventure after discovering a library full of books and a remote island where fictional characters come to life. If you like this adventure fantasy, try Grabenstein's other book, Escape from Dr. Lemoncello's Library. The Key to Extraordinary by Natalie Lloyd. 12-year-old Emma Casey lives by a haunted graveyard where she gives tours, helps her brother and Granny Blue with the family bakery, and waits for her destiny dream to come from her ancestors. But when it finally does come, it shows her only a key, and she finds that she must solve a ghostly mystery that has haunted her town for generations. The Key to Extraordinary. Lucky Strike by Bobby Pyron. Nate Harlow has never been lucky. He's never won a prize, never gotten picked first for games, and never even called a coin toss right. Everything changes for him on his 11th birthday when, on a mini golf course, he's struck by lightning and survives. Ever since then, Nate's luck has turned good. But now that Nate's popular, his best friend, Genesis Jen Beam, worries that he has no time for her anymore. Find out in Lucky Strike. A Night Divided by Jennifer Nielsen. When the Berlin Wall went up, Gerda and her mother and her brother Fritz are trapped on the eastern side where they were living, while her father and her other brother Dominic are in the west. 4 years later, now 12, Gerda sees her father on a viewing platform on the western side and realizes he wants her to risk her life trying to tunnel to freedom. Find out in A Night Divided. The Only Game by Mike Lupica. 6th grade is supposed to be the year that Jack Callahan would lead his team to the Little League World Series. But after the death of his brother, he loses interest in baseball, and only Cassie, the star of the girls' softball team, seems to understand. Read The Only Game. Paper Things by Jennifer Richard Jacobson. After the death of their mother, 19-year-old Gage and his younger sister, 11-year-old Ari, struggle to keep their promise to their mother that they will stay together. But when Gage is unable to find a home for the two of them, Ari is forced to make a difficult decision. Read Paper Things. Pax by Sarah Pennypacker. Peter rescued Pax when the fox was just a kit. Now Peter is forced to abandon him after his father is called to fight in the war, and Peter is sent to live with his grandfather. Both Peter and Pax are heartbroken. When Peter arrives at his grandfather's home, he sets out under the cover of night to travel 300 miles back to his home, hoping to find Pax. Meanwhile, Pax has set out to find the boy he loves. Read Pax. Ruby Lee and Me by Shannon Hitchcock. After a family accident, everything changes for Sarah. There's a new teacher at her formerly all-white school in Shady Creek, an African-American educator, which is causing quite a stir. There's also Ruby, an African-American girl with whom Sarah is becoming friends, but such a friendship may harm Sarah just as much as Ruby. Then the Freedom Riders arrive in town and things really become hectic. Find out what happens in Ruby Lee and Me. Seraphina's Promise by Anne E. Berg. In a poor village outside of Port-au-Prince, Haiti, Seraphina works hard to help her family, but dreams of going to school and becoming a doctor. Then the earthquake hits and Seraphina must summon all her courage to find her father and still get medicine for her sick baby brother as she promised. Read Seraphina's Promise. Stella by Starlight by Sharon Draper. When a burning cross set by the Klan causes panic and fear in their 1932 Bumblebee, North Carolina, 5th grader Stella must face prejudice and find the strength to demand change in her segregated town. Read Stella by Starlight. The War That Saved My Life by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. In World War II London, 9-year-old Ada, who has a disabled foot, suffers from the neglect and abuse of her cruel mother. So when her little brother Jamie is evacuated to escape the bombings, Ada sneaks out to join him. Susan Smith takes the kids in, and Ada enjoys a caring provider, reading and riding a pony. However, what will happen when Ada and Jamie are forced to return to their cruel mother? Find out in A War That Saved My Life. Zayn and the Hurricane, A Story of Katrina by Rodman Filbrick. A 12-year-old boy and his dog become trapped in New Orleans during the horrors of Hurricane Katrina. Read about their adventures in Zayn and the Hurricane.